Hey guys, and welcome back to Twisted Plastic RC. Today we are replacing the stock axles with the HR axles. I think they look incredible with the blue and everything, and they match what we've already done here. So we're going to get right into that. Tools we'll need is a Phillips 1, and really that's it. Everything's pretty self-explanatory here. I've already taken the set screws out of the front, so we've got those sitting over there. We'll go ahead and remove the set screws from the rear. All right, to get our new axles put in, if you guys watched the video on the knuckle replacements, you'll know that we need to take the knuckles off to get the axles out. So set screws are out, and of course I use a bobby pin to push the pins all the way out from the other side of the control arm here. And the ones that are tougher, I will use needle nose pliers to hold that and push those pins out. If you don't already have a work stand, these things are fantastic, especially for applications like this, just to help hold things where you need to while you're removing parts. And then we'll pull these pins all the way out with the needle nose pliers, like so. All right, now the rear axle replacement is going to be really simple. We don't need to take anything else off that we already did. So you'll just be able to pull this knuckle out, pull your old axle out, and your bearing of course will come with it as always. So we're going to make sure we reinsert that bearing onto the new axle before we push that through. And again, we're using the sealed bearings from Fast Eddie just to do an upgrade on those. You'll get your new axles in, make sure you set them in the differential where they go, and then we'll work on putting our pin back in. And then just make sure that you're putting it on the same setting for each side that you want. And this is the hardest part of it, is to make sure that everything's lined up when you're going to put that pin back in. There we are, we've got that pin back in, so we can put our set screw back in there. And we'll start working on the other side here. I'll fast forward this one since it's the same application as before. All right, now the front's slightly different. If you remember from the video before, we did have to take the hub carrier off. We will have to redo that again. So we'll push the pins out, which we already did. We'll be able to pull this forward. And then we will disconnect the camber link. We do not need to disconnect the other link. We're just going to unscrew in the position it's in. Once those two screws are out, your hub carrier will come off. And then you'll be able to pull your axle out. Make sure your bearings don't come with it, and then put your new axle in. And we can put the hub carrier back on. And we'll put those two screws back in. Now we'll make sure our axle goes into the differential where it's supposed to. We found out in the last video that it's a little easier if you get this bottom pin in first before trying to put that camber link back on. You can just use needle nose pliers to get that camber link on. I just don't want to mar up aluminum or that camber link. Really, our hardest part of doing all this is just getting the right angle of attack to get that pin back in. But once you got it, you just push it all the way through and put your set screw back in, and then we'll be able to reattach that camber link. Now that that's back in, it's the same process for the other side, so we'll fast forward through that so I don't have to bore you with it. All right, we've got that pin in, so we will go ahead and put our set screw and then put our camber link on. And then we will be done with this part of the project. All right, guys, we have our new axles in there, the HR branded ones. I think they look really great, of course. We probably won't be able to see them once the wheels are on, but that's not a big deal. It's about having some strong axles in there. So we'll go ahead and put these wheels back on, and we are back ready to run. So don't forget to put your hub back on. You do have these two prongs here that'll fit into your new axles. And then you put your wheel on and screw, and the wheels use a 2.5 hex. So we'll get those put on. Of course, the one screw you want to be sure is tight is going to be your wheels. That's the last thing you want flying off while you're driving. And there you have it, guys. The Latrax Teton now has some really strong hubs, hub carriers, control arms, axles, shocks, everything. We are ready to hit some off-road trails there and have a good time. If you guys like the video, of course, like and subscribe. And if you have any questions for me, just leave them in the comments down below. And stay tuned, because the next time we will be replacing the rest of the bearings as well as the spur gear. And we will see you next time. Thank you.